I'm Cory.
And I'm Wallace.
And we're an early retired couple that are traveling the world. At the moment, we're in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah, Malaysia, and we're headed to Bali, Indonesia.
So this marks the end of our time here in Malaysia. We're doing a couple of flights today, waiting for a flight from KK over to Kuala Lumpur. And then once we're in KL, we've got a couple-hour layover, and then flying direct to Denpasar, Bali, where we'll be spending the next 2 months. So it's going to be another long-ish day. We're not feeling great as it is, so that's going to make it even worse. But yeah, no, we've really enjoyed our time here in Malaysia overall. We've been here for quite a while, on and off, with a little break to Hong Kong in between. But what do you think overall?
I like Malaysia. There's a few things that I kind of wish I had maybe known prior, such as the lack of hot water to wash your dishes. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but try washing greasy dishes with warm water or warm.
Not even
water.
warm, like tepid water out of the tap. Yeah, that's definitely not something we're used to in Canada, where you've got a hot water heater for your house, and every tap or every sink in the house has hot and cold water. Here, most of the taps are tepid, not even cold, not warm, not hot, and yeah, it's just different. Just something that we've taken for granted all these years, apparently.
Other than that, I think that was the biggest thing. And I'm not gonna lie, Sabah in general, other than like the ecotourism that we did, gluten-free has been a big challenge. We do a lot of our own cooking, and obviously like the basic ingredients of like eggs and stuff like that, or whole foods are obviously no big deal. Beyond that, it's quite difficult and a challenge.
That's fair. Yeah, there's a lot fewer gluten-free options here, a lot fewer restaurants on the Find Me Gluten-Free app. So we did end up going to a couple of those, and one we went back to a few more times. But yeah, overall, we're on an island, and that always presents challenges. So I kind of expected that. Just even, regular groceries, the options here were more limited, fewer things to select from, not as much quantity and choice as we're used to in the rest of Malaysia so far. But that is what it is. We're traveling, and that's one of the things that we're going to keep running into, I'm sure, as we go along here. But yeah, for me, I did really enjoy Malaysia. I liked KL the best, honestly. Kuala Lumpur is a place I could see myself, going back to, every so often and spending, a few weeks or a month there just to, chill out and, go do stuff, lots to see and lots to do there. Sabah was very interesting, very beautiful. Definitely more limited options over here in general. So, we came for the ecotourism, and we knocked that one out of the park. Right off the bat, we went out and did the Kinabatangan River Safari, which was awesome. We saw orangutans and sun bears, and that was really cool. But having done that, I don't know necessarily that we would come back to Sabah.
I think I would tend to agree, and I don't think it's warranted to stay as long as we did. There's not a lot to do in KK, so unless you're looking to do like the more expensive stuff consistently, like the river rafting, we looked into that. That was quite a ways from KK. Mount Kinabalu, which again was a 2-hour trip, and then a really grueling grind of a hike, which if you're going to consider it, I recommend watching some videos on it. And there was a few other things that the locals suggested, but nothing was closer than a 2-hour trip, and getting out there was no problem. Good luck on getting back.
Unless you prearrange transportation. Yeah, it's not something you want to take a chance with a Grab, because that could cause you problems. Now, to be fair, there were other things that we could have done. We chose not to because, some days we just weren't feeling that great, and other days because of the rain. We are here during, the rainy season, so that just what it is. But yeah, anyways, think that's it for the moment. We are now on our way to Kuala Lumpur, just waiting for our plane here, and we'll probably pick it up there and then take you guys with us as we get into Bali. So I'm just wandering this section of the airport here in KK just to see what food options there are. And you know what? For a small airport, they're actually fairly well equipped. There's a Starbucks, there's a Burger King, there's a Dunkin' Donuts, there's an Old Town, which is a Malaysian chain, so you can get white coffee, teh tarik, that sort of thing, as well as Malay dishes. And there's McDonald's as well, so if you come and you need food, there's a few options. Nothing for Cory, because none of it's likely to be gluten-free, except for French fries from Burger King, which is why Cory's not wandering with me right now. But yeah, so there are some options if you need them. So Sabah is clearly famous for its seafood, because here in the International Departure Terminal, there's a dried frozen seafood shop where you can literally buy frozen seafood that they must pack on dry ice so that you can take it home with you. It's kind of crazy. Never seen that before in an airport. And another smooth boarding for an AirAsia flight, and on time, and we'll be on our way to KL soon.
I'm really enjoying flying in Asia. It's so easy and just so no stress and stuff.
And AirAsia, you know, for a budget airline, that online gets a lot of flack. So far, we've had zero complaints. They've done a very good job, very efficient, very smooth, you know, process for check-in, boarding, and deboarding and baggage claim. Yeah, no, absolutely no complaints. So
They're probably like the most efficient airline I've ever been on.
And that's saying something. So yeah.
Well, just to put it in perspective, 99% of the time while they're off-boarding, they're onboarding. So we've actually passed, like as we're boarding, we passed the people coming off the plane.
Yeah, it's a very quick turnaround, is what Cory's trying to say.
And yes, they do clean the plane, because as we were deboarding our last plane, I saw them with gloves on going in between the seats and like picking up everything and stuff. So
all right, anyways, that's it for the moment. We're going to enjoy this 2-hour, 20-minute flight to KL, and then we'll see you there. Okay guys, we are now in Kuala Lumpur. We got off the plane, through the transit gate, through yet another set of security, and now we are at the queue gates, heading towards our gate for our second flight, which will start boarding in about a half hour. So even though we had almost a 2-hour layover, this airport is huge, and it took this long to make our way over from the gate we arrived at.
yeah, it's massive. Like, we're in a section that we haven't even been in yet. So.
And we've been at this airport 6 times now in the last 3 months.
Which is crazy, because
we've never actually been at any single airport this frequently before until now.
Welcome to full-time travel.
Anyways, we're gonna go find our gate, figure out where we're going, and I don't think we're gonna have time for an airport lounge today. So we're probably just gonna hang out there and relax for a bit before getting on our next plane. We barely sat down at the gate for not even 10 minutes, and we already started boarding, so we're already standing on the jetway waiting to get on our plane.
And we're about to board
right now. Crazy how efficient it is here. It is really, really hot on this plane. The AC clearly hasn't been running for a while, and it's pretty rough.
This is by far the hottest plane we've ever gotten onto. I really hope the air conditioner is not broken.
They won't launch a plane without AC, because that's actually like, as far as I understand it, that's like a safety thing. But yeah, it's stinking hot right now. This plane's clearly been sitting on the tarmac a while, like with everything turned off. Because usually when they're doing a quick turnaround, you see the AC blasting, you like fogging because the condensation is so humid, but this one, it's stifling. So we're gonna struggle until this plane actually gets going here. Hopefully it won't be too long. And thank goodness they just turned like the engines on and the AC system just came on, because we were a little worried there for a sec. We've pushed back from the gate on time, and now it's time for a rainy flight to Bali.
Ticket came with meals. Nothing Cory can eat, unfortunately, that's gluten-free. So on the previous flight, I ordered the chicken rice and the prawn and chicken wonton noodles, and I tried them both. And this dish, the prawn and chicken wonton noodle, was actually pretty tasty. We got the same thing for this flight, so I'm gonna have this one here. Unfortunately, Cory's not able to eat any of the meals, but she wasn't feeling very well, not hungry today anyway, so that kind of worked out, I suppose. So I'm just gonna open this up and I'll show you guys what this one's all about. Okay, here it is all opened up. So you've got 4 shrimp and prawn, chicken and prawn wontons, because this is a halal meal. And under this leafy cabbage here, there's some wonton noodles, stir-fried with sweet soy sauce and garlic. It was actually pretty tasty. One thing that I will mention is, even though the ticket included a meal, it doesn't include a drink, so you do have to purchase that separately. Even water isn't included on AirAsia, so if you want anything to drink or to eat, you do have to purchase it separately. So I'm gonna dig in. I'm not gonna show you guys, but basically, you know, it's wonton and noodles, and it was honestly pretty good.
I'm honestly shocked. That prawn and chicken wonton noodle dish here on AirAsia was probably one of the best economy class meals that I've ever had. Very shocking, because this is a budget airline and I had not come into the flights with very high hopes, but that was actually pretty tasty, so bonus. Welcome back. As you can see, it is now the next day and we are in Bali, Indonesia.
Yeah, it was a long travel day. We had a few unanticipated issues when we got to the airport, such as our eSIM didn't work. So we had to troubleshoot that, because we got a eSIM that's supposed to work for all of Asia for 6 months, and as soon as we landed, it just didn't want to work.
Which caused us some problems and some delays there. So yeah, eSIMs, the regional eSIMs are supposed to work everywhere. Ours is currently with Saily, and in general, it's been okay, if a little slow, you know, in some of the countries we've been. But it just flat out wouldn't connect to the network here in Indonesia. And so that caused us some problems at the airport. We had to troubleshoot that and using the airport Wi-Fi, which was really, really slow and wouldn't even work on my phone for some reason. But we did get it resolved. The actual process to get a visa on arrival at the Bali airport was very seamless, very quick, as was the customs. Even though, because we had to get a visa on arrival, we didn't get to go through the e-gates. We had to get in line and go through customs. Very straightforward process. They had no problems. Guy was really nice. It just reminded us that we need to extend our visa at some point within these first 30 days, because we need to extend it for another 30 days after that. But yeah, so it is a new day. We are now going to head down for breakfast here at our hotel. We're just going to do a buffet breakfast. Just save ourselves some hassle this morning. And then maybe we'll show you around the hotel. We're currently staying at the Fairfield by Marriott Bali South Kuta, which is pretty close to the airport. This is the restaurant here on the ground floor. It's a buffet breakfast. So we'll go through and show you around.
Unfortunately, that was a bust.
After talking to the hostess and also one of the chefs, they didn't have that many options for gluten-free on such short notice.
So I'm a little confused, because they're like, oh, most people tell them that they're coming 2 to 3 days ahead of time in order to get gluten-free stuff. which makes no sense to me. So unfortunately, so if you're a guest arriving late at night, you're kind of boned. I guess you have to email.
Let them know in advance, yeah. Instead, we are going to go to one of the top, most highly recommended gluten-free restaurants on all the gluten-free groups and also on the Find Me Gluten-Free app. It's a restaurant called the Pad on Benny. So we're just waiting for a Gojek right now, and we're gonna go get a ride over there and check that place out because they do lots of gluten-free stuff and come highly recommended. All right, we've already finished breakfast. We were too hungry to film it because, yeah, a little bit later of a start to the day than we expected, just having to take Grab here, which took a while, or Gojek, not a Grab. I had an eggs benny, which was 2 perfectly poached eggs on a really thick, crispy piece of ciabatta bread with Aussie back bacon and spinach and hollandaise sauce, and it was really, really good. Definitely gonna be coming back here because they had a lot of gluten-free options, like 3 pages of gluten-free menu for Cory. So I'm gonna turn this camera around and we'll get Cory's input on her breakfast.
I got avocado on toast with eggs, feta, and tomato. It was really well done and really delicious. This was definitely like the easiest ordering that I've had since we've been on the road. So it was kind of a relief. And then I got a couple of like smoothie or just fresh blended juices, which are delicious. This one's dragon fruit, lime, and mint. Really good. But yeah, it's really nice being in a place that understands gluten-free. So much easier. I believe on the Find Me Gluten-Free app, there's like 54 restaurants or more. Wallace is telling me there's more. I haven't looked into it too hard because I wasn't feeling so good when we got here, but it's like a breath of fresh air to like not have to worry so hard.
This place is awesome. One of the owners, Allie, just came up to talk to us. Nice lady from Perth, Australia originally, and her and her daughter own this restaurant. And she just spent 10 minutes just chatting with us, and we're talking to her about gluten-free here in Bali, and she was giving Cory some advice. Yeah, can't say enough good things. Fantastic service here. So Pad on Benny definitely is a winner, and we're going to be back probably a lot over the 35 days we're going to be here in Kuta. We're just in the Grab heading back to the hotel, and I don't know if it comes across on the GoPro, but man, the streets in Bali are very, very narrow. We are now back at our hotel, the Fairfield by Marriott Bali South Kuta, and we're gonna take you guys in and give you guys a tour because we actually haven't seen anything except our room, so this will be a first for us too. So as you walk in, this is the restaurant off to the right. Got this kind of cool green feature wall to the left here. As we walk up to reception, and there's also a nice water feature here. And some swing chairs here in the lobby by the reception desk, which is kind of cool and also very green. And behind the lobby area is the gym, which is air conditioned, which is nice. Very small.
Workout though.
No, so we've got a few machines here, or a couple machines, a bike, a treadmill, and a small collection of weights. Water, at least. Not much.
I'm thinking we're not going to be using this as often as we thought. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think you're right. But luckily we have the workout mat and we can work out in our room too, because there's more space to actually move around in there. We're just going to take the elevator up to the 6th floor and check out the pool, rooftop pool. As soon as you come out of the elevator, you've got, looks like change rooms up here. And the pool's open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. from the looks of it. Hello. There's a bar here. Oh, it's a swim-up bar. Nice. Technically, you can swim right up to the bar there. And it's a small pool, but yeah, it's not that small. It's actually fairly long.
Yeah, it's fairly sizable.
So yeah, I think we're going to be spending some time up here. There's some seats, comfortable loungers with umbrellas, and some beanbag chairs. Some more seating here, which is actually nice and shady. And I'm just going to hold the camera up so you guys can see the view. This is our room. As you walk in, immediately to the left, you've got a big closet, which has a safe there, always handy. And then lots of mirrors in this place. Big mirror there, and the bathroom. You got a nice sink, and big bonus, there's hot water out of that tap, which is the first time we've had that in a while. And a nice glass enclosed shower area. Also very nice to have, because in Malaysia, you basically just get like this little half glass and there's no door, and water basically gets everywhere. So here, the water stays in the shower. Imagine that. Got a big TV, a little chair and coffee table to sit at, big king-size bed, and we do technically have a balcony, but as you can see, not much of a view, so we probably won't be using that. And around here, we've got
Hello.
Cory at our workstation area, desk area, which is actually a nice padded chair to sit in, a good spot to work on the computer and do YouTube videos from. And we've got a little mini fridge, and they also did have, there's a couple bottles of water, which I put in the fridge, and tea and coffee and a kettle. And also, last night, housekeeping brought us a coconut for our elite welcome gift. It was delicious and had a lot of coconut water in it. And also they brand it with the Marriott brand, which is kind of cool. Now, I mentioned earlier, we are staying here in Kuta for 35 nights. We're actually spending 30 nights here in this hotel, and then we're moving to the Fairfield by Marriott Legion for 5 nights. And normally we wouldn't stay in a hotel for 35 straight nights. The reason we're doing that is because this hotel in particular is actually quite affordable. We're averaging 62 Canadian dollars per night here for the 30 nights that we're here, which is pretty much in line with what we'd pay for an Airbnb or, you know, any sort of other booking like that. And the whole purpose behind it is that we're doing it to chase platinum status with Marriott Bonvoy, because we've got a lot more hotel stays coming up later this year, starting in April and further into the year. And a lot of those stays are going to be at nicer hotel properties. We've got some really fantastic stays lined up. And by getting the platinum status, that's going to get us a lot of perks at those hotels later on. We're talking free breakfasts, lounge access for free food and drink in the afternoons, upgraded rooms, not just rooms, but upgrades to suites in particular, which is a possibility with platinum status and above. Also, 4 p.m. late checkout is going to be another perk that's really going to help us as we're traveling, needing to move around, not having to check out at noon, when you don't have a flight till, midnight that day is going to be fantastic. So that's why we're here for 30 days. Not normally something we would do, but we're going to give it a try, see how that elevated status with Marriott Bonvoy works out for us for the rest of the year. All right, it is much later in the evening. We have already had dinner. We didn't film it because it was really noisy in there, and that was gonna be pretty well pointless. And now we're just wandering down here in Legian, and this is Legian Beach behind us. We're gonna go have a look. We just missed sunset, but you can still see the color in the sky behind us is gorgeous. And yeah.
So what are your first impressions?
Of Bali in general?
Or maybe just Kuta, because I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. I like it. It's chaotic. The traffic is kind of crazy, kind of scary, honestly, watching some of these motorbikes zipping around. But the city is actually relatively clean. No, really bad smells of sewer as we're going along. And food scene here is pretty good. And I feel like we're gonna have a pretty easy time here.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, we just went back to the same restaurant tonight just because I wasn't feeling super great and I just wanted safe. And I know that she 100% does not do any cross-contamination, so it just makes my life a little easier, which is so great. So yeah, as we start to get more acquainted, we'll introduce you to more and more places.
Yeah, I mean, you guys might get bored of seeing us go to the same restaurants all the time, but when you've been glutened as many times as Cory has, there's a reason we try to stick to the places that are safe for her to eat if we can. Anyways, let's go check out the beach. Look at the color of the sky right now. Got some bars and stuff down here. Oh, it's pretty.
It's clean. Well, not clean, but...
No, so the beach here is not crazy clean because it is rainy season and a lot of stuff washes up. But you can see this extends quite a ways all the way down there. Lots of restaurants and bars along the beach. And all the way down that way, but it is very pretty right now. It is really beautiful here. You guys can see the sky behind us as the sun sets.
Yeah, this beach is going to be much more enjoyable. Definitely bringing up the beach vibes, so...
Yeah, and you can't see it on the GoPro, but all along the beach here, there's places to get surf lessons and rent surfboards for like just a couple of bucks a day kind of thing. So we're definitely gonna do some beach days, weather permitting, and do some surf lessons and try to get in the water and learn how to surf, because that's something we both want to do, and this is the place to do it apparently. And Kuta Beach as well. Kuta apparently is really good for beginner surfers. So I think
we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens, exactly. But I think that's it for today. Kind of a mellow day. The day after a travel day, we're always kind of not really doing too much, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So we are here for 35 days, 34 more days, so there'll be lots more to see and do that will take you guys along and show you around. But in the meantime, thanks very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up to give us a like and make sure you subscribe.
And we hope that you'll join us in the next video for more adventures. Until then, stay curious and keep exploring.